What's up, nerds? It's your boy. It's 8 o'clock in the morning on this last day of January, bright and early here at Site B, the 31st day of January 2023, about 60 degrees and cold, but sunny here at the exciting small island off the coast of Costa Rica that is Site B. It is I, your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, and general internet nonsense that is the OGGM. And hey, remember this thing? I mean, I know in the past month we've been so much focused on Wizards of the Coast, we haven't really talked about Wizards of the Coast. But this thing is actually still planning on coming out. Of course, not surprisingly, the digital version will be available before the physical version will be available. The physical version will be in limited release because they're making a golden special alternate cover version. But yep, this should be going live any day now on Amazon, and then I guess available to Target and other retailers sometime after that. Of course, you can buy it directly from Hasbro. Current price, I don't know, $35 for the normal one and probably close to $100 for the special one. It'll be a lot easier for you to find the special one than it will be for you to find the regular one. It's an anthology of 13 heist-themed adventures because that's something we were all crying about. We all wanted to do a Ocean's 11 campaign stuff, whatever. It is not set in any specific D&D world because there are no more specific D&D worlds. Remember, D&D is now world agnostic. The Forgotten Realms, I don't know what's going on with that in regards to OGL, OSR, Open 1 D&D, or the future of D&D come 2024. Doesn't sound like they're going to have a campaign-centric world for 6th edition. Haven't heard from Ed in a couple months, so I don't know what he's planning on doing with Forgotten Realms, but pretty much he still owns it, so he can do whatever he wants with it. But yeah, Keys for the Golden Vault. Introduces a new organization to help your characters perform the heist, because we don't want to make the heists actually hard for the characters or in any way, shape, or form place them in any actual danger. And of course, these are all fun, harmless heists because we don't want to, present something where the player characters might be violating the law, because that would be problematic and presenting an unusually troublesome idea that adventurers are bad or break the law. So there might be some maps in here. The heists are all supposedly multiple choice, and it includes advice and detailed information for Dungeons & Dragons game runners, because we know you're not smart enough to think of them on your own. So if you were just bated breath waiting for this to come out, it is now got its spot on Amazon. Digital version, of course, available first through D&D Beyond. If you're the one person who still has a D&D Beyond subscription, you can get the digital version, of course, and then a few days later, the limited run of the physical version will be available, the one that you see the picture of in front of you. And then, of course, the much harder to find, but much more prolific, will be the Golden Vault Solid Gold Special Edition. Notice it is not actually made out of solid gold, so do not get upset when you purchase it and find out it is not actually made of solid gold. It's just a gold embossed cover. That'll cost more, but it'll be easier to find. Weird. And this is one of the last 5th edition adventures we will ever see from Wizards of the Coast, because as you know, starting 2024, we're going to see stuff for 1D&D, i.e. 6th edition. I don't know why we're still calling it 1D&D. It's not 1D&D, it's 6th edition. They've said it's 6th edition. It's on the calendar, 6th edition. It's on the calendar for the future, 6th edition. It's the 6th edition. Of course, actually, if you're paying attention, it's not the 6th edition. It's like the 13th edition. But whatever. They can call it whatever they want. It's theirs. They could call it, Dungeons & Dragons the Sheep Edition. Dungeons & Dragons the It's on Fire Edition. Dungeons & Dragons We Ran Out of Names Edition. Hasbro can call it whatever they want. It doesn't really matter. I think we all know what we feel about Hasbro's and their D&D as opposed to the rest of us and our D&D. Interesting side note, it seems the playtest for 6th edition is gone. It is stopped. It is closed. It is locked on the D&D Beyond site. I just checked. There's no announcement of run number 4. I assume they're going to blame the whole OGL SRD thing on the fact that they've decided to temporarily discontinue the playtest. Now, why is that interesting? And does that have any result of because of what happened over the past month? Maybe, maybe not. It's just interesting that pretty much we haven't seen anything new for the playtest in about a month. February is right around the corner. In order for them to meet the deadline to have stuff in the pipe by January, they got to start sending stuff to the press pretty soon. If they're printing in America, then they don't have as much as a time crunch. But if they're printing in China like they have in the past and then having it shipped back to America because it's cheaper, then yeah, the crunch should start pretty soon because you're going to want to start seeing mock-ups by June. So you have something to show at the conventions and something to show for the trades. And then you're going to want to see the first physical products start, hitting their marks on Amazon before January 2024, and then you're going to want to start seeing the first stuff digitally. I don't know when the actual date is for the 50th anniversary of D&D, if it's just going to be a year-long thing, if it's geared for one specific day. They haven't decided yet. That is not on the calendar, weirdly enough. But plans for 2027 are on the calendar. Plans for 2024 are not. So yes, unusual that this product has not completed playtesting, and no future announcements for the playtest currently. But if we want to start seeing Hasbro going into production for 6th edition or 11th edition or whatever you want to call it, then they should probably start getting on that by March. Because again, you're going to want to start seeing the mock-ups for the conventions around June. So, yeah. But that's okay, because we single-handedly were responsible for 1,000 Hasbro employees losing their jobs. Don't forget that because of the OGL thing over the past month, 1,000 Hasbro employees are losing their job. Of course, the fact those 1,000 Hasbro employees were scheduled to lose their jobs before this happened as a result to the fact that, Wizards of the Coast lost them $60 million and a 34% stock crash. And none of the people who are being fired work for Wizards of the Coast. They are all Hasbro International people who work through the toy division. But yeah, it's our fault because somehow in 3 weeks we managed to get 1,000 people fired. I'd really stop talking about the 1,000 people who got fired because they were going to lose their jobs anyway, sadly, and that had nothing to do with what happened during the OGL. I'd be more worried about the 60 Wizards of the Coast employees who are about to lose their jobs, including the D&D head of creative. D&D head of creative about to lose their job and replaced by a brand new one. Who was the D&D head of creative again? Anyways, yeah, coming out. Heist-based role-playing anthology, 5th edition, one of the last 5th edition products you will ever see from Wizards of the Coast, coming out by the end of tomorrow, I think. Anyways, the digital stuff should be available because we know that's what they're trying to push. Then we'll have the analog physical print with the normal cover, but gee, that one will be really hard to find. But the one with the alternative cover that's going to cost you like $100, wow, that one you'll be able to find. Weird. I mean, it's like somebody said this was going to happen a couple weeks ago, and people are like, nah. It's like somebody said this was going to happen a couple months ago, and people are like, nah. It's like somebody said this was going to happen 2 years ago, and people are like, nah. Now, plus that same person is saying up things that are going to happen during this year, and people are like, nah, that's not going to happen. Except, sadly, whenever that person makes predictions, they tend to be right. Not sure who that person was. The sarcasm is strong as this one. Yeah. Exciting. Heists. Crime. But safe crime, because remember, crime is bad. That's it for this. I'm the OGGM. If you appreciate this nonsense and sarcasm, let me know. If you never want to see me talk about this stuff ever again, let me know. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, Please do. It costs you nothing and it helps me immensely. And remember, this is my job, so if you're feeling generous, consider supporting me, and the best way to support me is to buy my merch. Brand new products up at Big Geek Emporium, exclusively to Big Geek Emporium. So yeah, check it out. Links down below. Till next time, I will see you. Now get out of my vault, you damn kids, with your damn golden key.